Welcome, Guardians. This is Winch here. Need to introduce you and review a loadout, in particular this weapon, Arminius D. A bullet hose marshmallow shooter, call it what you want, but this is a Haka, I guess that's how you pronounce it. Fully automatic auto rifle with counterbalance. Counterbalance is everything on a Haka weapon, whether it's a pulse rifle or an auto rifle. This is the shredder of Crucible. Next weapon I want to be reviewing in tandem with this is Telesto, the exotic fusion rifle. I took this setup right into trials, and it is a very viable option despite what the meta is running right now. I could care less about. Use a setup that works for you, and this is an incredible setup and loadout that I just don't find many people using. Look at this double kill with Telesto, and I generate an orb. I find this is a very effective, viable option if you don't want to be one of those 1,000-yard stare sniper campers that camps at every single alleyway in Crucible. I'm not that kind of player. I'm more of up in your face, get in the face. I'm not much a shotgun guy either, so fusion rifles are kind of that middle ground, but I really like the Telesto because it allows you have to use your brain in a lot of ways. Kind of predict what the enemy's going to do. Shoot this behind snipers, it gets them off sniping positions. It's a very viable option to get people that are stationary, mobile, and the guys that are camping around corners waiting for you to come to them. So what I often find is when you shoot these projectiles and they stick to any object, whether it's walls, floors, ceilings, boxes, crates, anything near a wall, it has a little bit of splash damage. And that will a lot of times damage the enemy enough to agitate them, to get them to move off of a corner that they're camping, waiting for you to come to them. Because that's really what these competitive game modes produce in Crucible and Trials in particular, 3v3 kind of game modes, is a lot of stationary gameplay where they want you to come in, which is a successful tactic. Right here again, two enemies next to each other. Anytime this weapon kills two enemies at once, you will generate an orb of light, and sticking on walls like it did right there is a very good tactic. Oh, right here, let's just make note of this. Look at my flinch. You see that? Did you see how far my reticle was jumping up in the air? I had to look at this guy's setup and said, are high caliber rounds buffed now? I just want to throw this in here and kind of throw it out there. High caliber rounds, he had that equipped. It really threw off my aim. Maybe keep that in mind for a future loadout on your weapons. I know I will be. I noticed I threw it on this weapon as well, the Arminius auto rifle. It has high caliber rounds, and it seemed like to me that people were not able to land shots on me, particularly in Crucible or close quarters engagements. Right there again, get some splash damage on that guy, finish him off with Arminius. It's a good compliment. Again, just touching on high caliber rounds, I'm not sure if it outweighs small bore option on this because you're giving up a lot in order to take high caliber rounds, but it's on my radar, guys. I think they may have buffed high caliber rounds, so just want to bring your attention to it because my reticle was all over the place when that guy hit me with that Haka pulse rifle, and I had a Haka as well. Pretty much dead matchup, and he took me out. But again, this setup, this loadout, very effective. If there's, again, I don't know. There's a lot of resistance out there about the meta and this and that, but this auto rifle is monster. Oh, Telesto, look at this kill right here. The range means nothing. This thing will shoot projectiles anywhere. Look how I show them on top of this oil drum over here, and they blow up and pretty much get a lot of damage and a kill on one enemy. Throw it up here again on that wall. He's kind of behind cover there. He's still taking damage there. Not much, but just enough to keep him, basically mobile, and I'll still pull off an assist. You won't get a kill every time, but a lot of times what that tactic does is loadout. The Telesto allows you to soften up your target when they're behind cover, get them exposed either and then eliminated by your teammates or by you finish off with your primary. It's not particularly good at the 1v1. You're landing all the projectiles on them. They're still coming at you. There's going to be delay there for them to be put down. But it's great in those situations where maybe you're caught off guard, somebody's pursuing you. You'll see me in this gameplay later on. I'll shoot it on the ground when they're pursuing me, and they run into the projectiles on the ground. They blow up and take them out. And I'm still running. So it's very good for those enemies that are predictable. They're very aggressive and assertive, and they're going to be chasing you down. That's kind of where that weapon's really effective. Now, this is actually the very first match with Arminius. This is very first match, very first gameplay I have, and I went Reign of Terror right off the bat. And actually, I got a message from one of the players because this was on a Wednesday. This was Arms Day. Somebody was asking me about this gun. They said, "Is it worth the buy?" I said, "Yes, it is. It's a very underrated weapon. It's the shredder. I'm nicknaming this weapon the shredder. Just once you kind of the aim assist or whatever, once it locks on the head, it just dishes out an immense amount of firepower and just instantly melts people, shreds them to bits like a little blender, and it just cuts through enemies. And you have 72 rounds if you do not choose to run small bore. I think it's like 63 or something if you do. That's a lot of killing potential and firepower. This thing is just incredibly, time to kill is incredibly beneficial. I've even noticed that this weapon is very good at taking out supers, at people in supers. You'll see me here with a take on a Sunbreaker and I get an assist, but I pretty much do probably 95% of the damage for my teammates that take credit for the kill. Again, Telesto, sticking it on the wall, sticking on the wall. I'm always doing that, getting damage on the guy, hit markers, wounding them, catching them off guard, keeping them mobile, and sticking it to whatever I can. It gives you that much of an edge in a firefight when you're possibly outnumbered or at a disadvantage. Very effective weapon. This is worthy of an exotic. This truly is exotic. No other gun in the game does what this does, and that's really why when you choose an exotic weapon, that's what at least I'm looking for. When you're gonna lock up that class or that dedicate that weapon to an exotic, you want it to be doing something truly that sets it apart from the other guns. There's some exotics out there I just feel like they take the exotic slot, but they don't do anything really special that are noticeable. So this is a weapon that genuinely will give you an advantage in the situation. And there again, as I soften him up, finish him off. Here's that Sunbreaker. It pops it right here. You just see me lay into him and just putting a lot of damage on him. I pretty much take credit for that entire kill there. Again, obviously he wasn't looking at me, but nonetheless, there's a lot of damage in a short amount of time. Here again is going to be a pretty good clip coming up after this one, where I soften up about 3 guys with an incendiary grenade and then wipe out 2 more. Here again, look at this guy pursuing me. I know he's going to jump over this barrel. Make the situation to your advantage. Nothing in the game is going to outclass me in these kind of close quarters engagements. So let him jump over the barrel, come after me, and just put him down instantly. Don't think you can just use this weapon anywhere you want. This is still an auto rifle. It still has a significant drop off. There's what I'm talking about. 700 points right there, by the way. This weapon has a significant damage drop-off, so, make sure you close that gap. Right here again, look at this. Look at the radar. I know he's coming around that corner. Throw the Telesto bullets down and take him out. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Read your map. Know when enemy's pursuing you. Shoot the ground or whatever, the wall, and let them run into that. You'd be surprised. It takes some time to master. It's an advanced tactic. Don't get me wrong. Don't think you're just going to jump in there and figure this out. As you see in this gameplay, I progressively get better with this setup. I'm kind of starting in the early gameplay, and as the gameplay goes on, you'll just see me getting better and better with this entire setup. So it takes some time, just like anything, to understand the weapon. I mean, this weapon has weaknesses. It has a huge damage drop-off. But if you get in these kind of close to medium range engagements, which is not that hard to do, it's not that hard to close a gap. Keep yourself away from this long drawn out combat scenarios, and you'll just go ham. I mean, I was taking on guys there with Hawk Moon, Red Death, all the top tier meta guns out there that everybody wants to run, and everybody's focusing on. This weapon is very viable, very capable. I mean, it takes a lot of rounds there at that range, but it's still capable of dropping people. And there's something about that. I think this weapon puts out a lot of flinch. In my experience, I haven't gone up against it that many times myself, but I just see people have difficulty returning fire with this weapon. Now this poor soul right here decided to pull out an auto rifle. He was getting just stomped on here in Rumble. He was running Hawk Moon at the start of the map, and I was just massacring him with this auto rifle, so he decided to pull out an auto rifle, and it wasn't working for him. I think it was more of a higher fire rate auto rifle, a lower fire rate, higher impact auto rifle, which I just find to be so-so in Crucible. But this specific archetype of auto rifle is very different than the other auto rifles. Low impact, which again people immediately dismiss and write off. High fire rate, and people think it's pretty worthless. But I mean, this is a viable option, very viable. Counterbalance again on the Haka weapons. Counterbalance, what it does is it just changes your recoil pattern. It doesn't reduce your recoil, so instead of having side-to-side recoil, you have vertical recoil. That's everything in a game. What is going on here? A little bit of lag. I was kind of having some fun here at the end of this match. This guy's self-res. I jump up, pop my super, take him out, and just kind of a fun wrap-up to the match here as we go on. And I just kind of sit here and keep dancing, and as people keep coming at me wanting to get that final kill, I just keep throwing out hammers. Sorry guys, I gotta have some fun every now and then here. But again, what I'm trying to say is this weapon is the meta. Everybody, the meta. I'm so tired of this mentality in Destiny. What's the new meta? Well, it's pulse rifles, wind shears, so you gotta have your pulse rifles. Before that, it was exotic hand cannons. So, you know, that's one thing I've been kind of critical of Bungie on, is this weapon balance stuff. I mean, stop making one weapon class the go-to weapon class. Auto rifles are dismissed, and I think a lot of them are not very competitive. I've had kind of limited success with some, but auto rifles are still good if you know how to use them. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's taken me a long time to kind of figure out what I need to do and find the right one, and this is my niche. I really like this weapon. It just feels right. It just melts people. There's a guy with using the what, no time to explain. It is a very good, viable option to counter those meta guns if you're putting yourself where this weapon's strengths are at your advantage. So close the gap, hit them in the head, catch them off guard, start flinching them, and you're going to be very successful at basically being a formidable opponent. The game mode I've really found effective here, and actually think it dropped the sum of all tiers in this match, which I'm not sure what does that mean, sum of all tiers. All I know is people rage quitting left and right. But this weapon in Rumble, oh my god, this weapon 1v1 is like ridiculous. I don't know if there's really any gun in the game that was really giving me any kind of challenge in Rumble. And Rumble is just basically all the time 1v1 scenarios. I mean, I was just absolutely massacring people in consistent match after match. It was actually removing me at the conclusion of the matches, putting me in other matches because it was so unbalanced, just destroying the team. Everybody's rage quitting, and I'm I'm kind of forcing that here as I'm kind of being a little bit of a troll, but I'm just having fun. As you can see, I mean, people don't understand. They're like, auto rifle? How is this guy with an auto rifle destroying me? Well, you know, this right weapon, right hands, in the right situation, and you know, don't think you can just equip your Red Death and trump everything out there because it's the best gun in the game. It's the meta. You know, that's kind of where I'm getting at all this footage. You can hear Sunbreaker coming after me. What you can see me do is pull back, pull out Telesto, stick him, pull back again, let the Telesto finish him off, then take the guy behind him and capitalize on his weak aim. Again, good tactics. So here, Telesto, pull back. I'm going to shoot the ground, let this guy run into it, and capitalize on his predictability. Even though he had a tactical advantage there from him, heavily wounded. Look, he runs right into that, finish him off, trade with the weapon. Again, if I had not pulled out Telesto there in that situation, it's probably unlikely I would have been trading with him in that engagement. And this weapon just has a very good charge rate, Telesto does. It's very, very fast. Sometimes those stats are almost a little bit deceiving from my experience, that it just seems like it shoots quicker than it does statistically. But here I just want to show the conclusion of the match. I really love this. I still use my BTR today. I know it's year 1 OP stuff, but there's no heavy out there that really equates to this thing there. Moving on, the next gameplay here, pretty much wrap it up here. I know this is a long video, guys. I won't commentate through all of it. I just at least want to show you more and more gameplay of it. Softening up the target and then finishing off the auto rifle. Like I said, I won't commentate through all of it. I just want to show you more gameplay. You know, it's about quality over quantity in my channel. Showing you loadouts that people really aren't acknowledging. Maybe starting trends like hopscotch. That's kind of what I'm here to do. I'm anti-meta. You're not going to see me running Nerwin's Mercy 24/7, just trying to get the highest score with the best gear. It's just never been how I play games. I'm not sure why that is. I just look down on it. I mean, there's, like I've seen on people out there, there's two classes of players out there. I was watching this on Planet Destiny. There's people that want to run the setup that just guarantees them the win, and there's the people that want to challenge and want to kind of stem the against the grain kind of mentality out there. You don't have to use the best gear all the time. There is stuff out there people just don't want to acknowledge or just dismiss that is competitive if you know how to use it. and I just don't see fusion rifles. I never see auto rifles. Zalo, I'm gonna probably be putting a review out of that. I like that weapon. I'm still in that phase of trying to figure it out though, and it takes me some time to figure out weapons a lot of times. And again, look at that guy get outplayed with the Telesto combination. That guy wraps me up here at the last word. That's still, last word in my opinion is still very, very competitive, viable, deadly weapon in the right hands. Personally, I don't like it. It doesn't work for me, but it's still an incredible weapon. Again, Telesto at range, soften them up. Again, having to complement the weakness of my weapon at range, that's what you have to do with this setup. I'll let this final footage wrap up here, guys, with this weapon. I'll just play out some footage here. One last pretty big kill streak. Encourage you guys to lock in this weapon with the next Arms Day and a gunsmith weapon, because this will be coming in the rotation. Just don't dismantle it for weapons parts and legendary marks. I would encourage you to look for this weapon. Again, counterbalance is critical, absolutely crucial to this weapon's performance. If you don't have counterbalance, you're going to be a significant disadvantage tactically trying to mitigate that side-to-side recoil, because that's what all comes down to. So side-to-side recoil will actually destroy your effectiveness offensively with this loadout. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about auto rifles in general. Are they still viable? Can they be in Crucible? At least in my experience, they can be. I really think this weapon, this particular bullet hose, marshmallow shooter, whatever you want to call it, judge it as you will, I still think this weapon is very viable and a very competitive contender on the battlefield. Thanks for watching.
You're in the lead.